watch Doomsday Preppers at
Yes.
all? Those guys that build that Doomsday Prepper storage container castle in the middle of the desert. If you had a storage container, you could probably slap that on the back of a deuce and a half,
Right.
and then you have a makeshift
Right.
shell. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean that's pretty intense.
It is very intense, and it just, you know, just preference, you know, and I go back to the cosmetic portion. Deuce and a half looks big and lumbering and whatever. This pickup looks awesome, and it's a huge truck, but it's still got plenty of power. It's still got plenty of push and pull. You know, deuce and a half, great vehicle. That's the one you want to go with, and whether you want to modify it or not, it's still a good vehicle.
Yeah, one of the big things that you mentioned that I really like about the deuce and a half is the anything engine. You can put what, you know, diesel, regular gas, you know, whatever. Like we have
Cooking oil.
Cooking oil. I mean, you know, I mean that's a pretty good wide variety. You can probably boil down some biodiesel and throw in there. It doesn't matter. You can just burn it on away.
Right.
I mean that's a pretty good, you know.
Yeah. So
jolt.
Excuse me. The more options you have, the better off you are in any situation. So especially in a stress situation, bug out situation, you want to have more options. So.
Yeah, options are good, and especially if you only have one tool for multiple jobs. That's pretty awesome. One of my buddies is actually talking to me about the deuce and a half. Oddly enough, you mentioned it, and that's where I kind of got my information from. Thanks, Ray. Just kind of give you a little shout out there. And he was going online and he found some people that were making deuce and a halves into makeshift RVs. And they were putting all kinds of like plumbing and stuff and making them like a motorhome on the back of a deuce and a half. And he was like, that seems pretty cool. And I was like, yeah. And he was telling me some of the prices, some of the deuce and a halves and stuff. And when you said deuce and a half, anything engine, I was like, yeah. And then you said you wanted to bob it, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, now that I haven't heard. So it was like, that is a big freaking pickup truck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like as close to a monster truck as you could have.
Right.
I mean, without having a monster truck.
Right.
That's still street legal.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of good sides to it. You know, the military's made it. They built it for the military to operate in adverse conditions, to operate on multi-fuels. So, you know, yeah, it's the perfect choice, really.
Yeah, I mean, now since you've been talking about that, I happen to have recently learned about, and when I say recently, I'm talking like a couple weeks ago, I think, is when I finally heard about this thing. It's called the Knight. And I'm trying to remember who makes it. I think it's, what is it, the XJ or J something, Z9, or something like that. It's a couple of like letters, Knight. And you can just put on their Knight four-wheel drive in Google and check it out. Check it out, it's pretty cool. It makes an H2 Hummer look like a smart car.
Oh, really?
It is huge, and it's fully armored, ballistic glass, diesel engine, and it looks like a passenger, like a VIP private jet in the back. Comes with like a flat screen TV and all these amenities, and I was like, okay, well, even without the amenities, you know, you're looking at a vehicle that's bigger than a Hummer, that's bulletproof, just completely armored. Now, you know, the only downside to that is you got to be like a rich guy to get them to like 300K or something like that. So, but they're pretty neat. They have run flat tires and the whole nine. You know.
I'd like to drive a Ferrari too, but I can't afford it.
Exactly. You know, so but I just thought it'd be fun, something for you to look at. You know, as far as wish list.
I will. I'll go look at it because I'm always interested in that sort of thing. And you know, gee, who knows? Maybe someday the money fairy hits me in the head and leaves me a ton of money, and I don't know what to do with it. And maybe I'll be able to have one.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but until then, I mean, like I said, I agree with your deuce and a half idea. That's probably one of the best ones. If I can't get a Humvee, which is also expensive, I don't want to get an H2 because those are commercial.
Right.
I'd have to go with an H1 Alpha,
Right.
and then you're still looking at 100K or more. I can't afford that.
I was really leaving my son and I. We do this stuff all the time, but we went and drove the H1, and really liked it. And you know, of course, they're trying to sell. We knew we weren't going to buy it because I don't have that kind of money. But you know, it's $40,000 off. I'm going, yeah, I still can't afford it at $40,000 off. But this is a neat vehicle, and make no mistake, that is a sweet car. The H2, the H3 is, you know, Might as well be driving a four-wheel drive pickup truck, so. But, the H1, that was the one to have.
Yeah, but you're still looking at what, 100K
Yeah,
or whatever?
Yeah, even at the 40,000 off, it was still 102,000.
Wow.
So.
So you're still looking at $140,000.
And this was, 2,000.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so I don't know what they, I mean, if you could even get them now, other than through the military, you know, I don't know.
So you're looking at $100,000 for that, $300,000 for the night, or what, $20,000 or less for a deuce and a half?
Probably 10,
10.
probably 10.
There you go.
Bob.
$10,000 bobbed.
Yeah.
So you can't beat that. That's pretty awesome. So I just learned something new for a bug out vehicle, and I think that's pretty awesome. Especially that's affordable. I could obtain that.
Right.
I can't obtain a night.
Right.
I can't throw down $300,000.
You kinda gotta be able to do what you can do, you know, don't go over the top and do something that you can't, you don't have the means to do, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's all right. I have to say, the bobbing of a deuce and a half is something I've never heard until today.
No.
But I've heard a lot of people talk about deuce and a halves and putting stuff in the back and, you know, making them a living, you know, quarters and using them as, you know, a means to travel cross country because they can stow whatever in the gas tank. I've heard that, but I've not heard the bobbing issue, and that's a neat aspect to it. It gives you a nice, a little bit more of a compact package.
I'll send you the link to it so you can kinda check it out.
All right,
It's
when I
really
get the
sweet.
link, I'll put it up for you guys too, so you guys can check it out.
All right?
Sounds good.
All right.
Well, I sure appreciate it, and I sure appreciate you letting me do an interview with you and
Sure.
come to your show, man. It's
Absolutely.
been a great expo.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
It was
Thank
nice
you.
meeting you.
Nice to
Good
meet you
see
too.
Take care.